Hello everyone and welcome to Net Crypto, where you get important information and news about all coins and tokens of interest. And today we are taking another look at Bitcoinbsc, right? So this is a project we have already labeled a scam. It's identical to BTC20, right? So just because it's a scam, it doesn't mean you can't make a profit, right, from it. And today I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can make a profit even from scam projects such as Bitcoinbsc. Of course, rule number one, right, is don't invest in the pre-sale. That's a no-brainer because a lot of scammy things can occur in the pre-sale. A lot of people get their wallets blocked, right? When it's time to claim, they are not able to claim, right? And also rule number two, don't stake, right? Don't stake. Staking is designed to prolong the scam for as long as possible. It doesn't make any sense to stake in a token that hasn't been around for at least between 1 or 2 years, right? The staking is being used by these pre-sale scams to prolong the scam as long as possible. But a lot of people will say that these projects are scammy and all that, but I've actually seen that you can even make a profit, right, even from scammy projects such as Bitcoinbsc, right? So why do we say that? Well, there's an amazing logbook on Amazon, right? The Big Brain Crypto Ego logbook, right? Because if you just think about it, right, the eagle is a bird that can just fly from the sky, comes into a river, catches a fish and flies away. You wonder, how does it do that, right? It's because there's tons of training that it has gone through, instinct and all that. So how do we do that in crypto on a scammy project such as Bitcoinbsc, right? Because this project is identical to BTC20. That's one thing that I have seen. There are huge similarities between the two projects, right? And one thing that we do know about BTC20 is when it launched, a lot of people were already trapped in staking, so they were not able to benefit from the pump, the 5x pump that occurred, right? So the scammers, they are very intelligent. They are running a tight ship, but the game is about to change. If you're watching this video, the game is about to change because of the Big Brain Crypto Ego logbook. So what is this about? So this is a logbook to help you to start doing a collection, so to speak, of pre-sales, right? A collection of pre-sales. So this is a hardcover book, right, on Amazon, right? It's a hardcover book on Amazon, link in the description, right? And what it allows you to do is that it allows you to log about 70 pre-sales, right? And it's amazing because it's a hardcover, so pen and paper. You sit somewhere, you relax, drinking coffee or whatever you like to drink, and you log down information in this book, right? So let's just take a look at how it looks like on the inside, right? So on the inside, you can record things such as the log start date, which is the date where you start logging. So for example, let's pretend that you are starting to log Bitcoinbsc today, which is the 17th of September, right, 2023. That's what you write. And of course, token name, Bitcoinbsc. Pre-sale start date is the 5th of September 2023. The date is right there on the Twitter. So even the nice thing about this book is you can track 70 pre-sales, right? And you can choose not to even invest. You're just tracking these pre-sales, check their characteristics, right? So that you can get the identity and look for a strategy that works for you for making a profit for each and every pre-sale, even if it is a scam. So for example, you can see pre-sale is live and the date was the 5th of September. So that's the information you put right there. And then of course, when the pre-sale ends, you update in your hardcover logbook, right? And also the website, right, for the pre-sale, as well as the Twitter handle is very important right here, because you're going to be checking a whole bunch of pre-sales, right? So you would want to go and get the latest information, what is happening within this pre-sale, right? So the Twitter handle, you can just log it right there, right, in your logbook. And of course, once it is launched, right, in terms of the top 10 holders percentage, how many tokens do the top 10 hold, right? You can write the percentage. For this one, the supply is going to be 21 million because they are mimicking the Bitcoin. And I do also like the part of the notes that they do have here, where you can add extra notes, right, in relation to just the general information of the pre-sale. And then now come the scam or legit evaluation section, right? I really like this because, for example, here is the team doxed? Of course, it's not. LinkedIn verified. So in sometimes you're going to be seeing that in some projects or some pre-sales, you're going to see that there's a doxed team. But then if the team is doxed, you need to see their LinkedIn profile. And in this case, LinkedIn, is it verifiable? Does, like, a lot of metrics around the LinkedIn, like you see on the videos I do, we go and we check, do these people who are listed as part of the doxed people who have their LinkedIn profiles, do they have the project name as their main employment, right, or the main thing that they are working on, especially if it is the CEO, right? Is it his main gig? Because sometimes you're going to see that these scammers just pull a bunch of names on LinkedIn, put them on their project, and they have nothing to do with the project. That would be like a red flag, right? So that's what it means, LinkedIn verified. You just only go on LinkedIn and verify it, right? And also pre-sale contract. Do we have a pre-sale contract? Yes, in this case for Bitcoin BSC, we do have a pre-sale contract. So far, you can see that there are about 9,193 transactions that have been recorded, right? So we do have a pre-sale contract for this one that you can see, which is good, right? That's important information. And also some of the things is the value proposition, right? Proposition is very important in terms of evaluating whether a pre-sale is legit or it's a scam, especially if they are speaking some sort of absurd story. Like you've seen a project like Chimp-Z, they are actually saying by buying this token, you are helping to save the environment and earning money at the same time, which doesn't make any sense, because each and every organization that does the save the forest, save the nature, right? They ask for donations, but they never say we'll give you a profit for donating. So that's absolutely absurd. So those are some of the things that you can pick up, right, in terms of talking about the value proposition when you're actually recording this, right? In your logbook, right? And also adoption is very important, right? Because this is where you can spot projects such as Pepe. A Pepe is not going to be coming every day, but you can imagine if you get into this pattern of logging all these pre-sales in your big brain crypto ego logbook, you are going to be like an ego with an ego view across multiple pre-sales, and you are recording multiple metrics, right? And it's just going to position you to be exactly like an ego, like that fascinating image you see of an eagle flying, and then it just goes, catches a fish in the river, then it flies away, right? Because you have got a bunch of information that you have collected across multiple pre-sales, right? You know exactly when to make the investment. So adoption is very important, because if you have a project like a Pepe, the adoption for that project is going to grow exponentially, right? If it's not growing exponentially, chances are it's not the first Pepe. And I'm going to be showing you some aspects of this hardcover logbook, right, that you can actually use to track adoption, right? And as well as you've got also contract renounced. It's very important to know if the contract is renounced or not, right? In this case, the actual project contract is not out yet. Normally, for what they did for BTC20, right, soon after the launch date, they renounced the contract, right? Because now the contract, they are still even creating the actual contract for this one, right? It's not finalized yet. So I would think that soon after they launch, they are going to renounce the contract. So we're going to leave it, you can just leave it blank, right? You just log the information you have, and as more information is coming, you keep logging it, right? And contract functions. So for example, are there any scammy contract functions like blacklist wallet, right? For example, cooldown periods, right? They can have a cooldown, trading cooldown, and so all sorts of, and also text as well. Text is very important. What text is there? Is there no text? If there's no text, great. Because some projects, there will be no text, and then later on they add a text, right? And people don't even know about it, because people were buying, they remove the text, and then when they see a whole bunch of people have bought in, now they put a text, right? So that's a sign of a scam. And you've got also a notes section. So for example, for Bitcoinbsc, here you can put up no transparency on team tokens and vesting. Token identical to BTC20, which is a scam, right? So we spoke about this in the previous video that we did do, is what we saw for BTC20 is there is no transparency around team tokens, right? Because everybody's buying their tokens at $1. They're calling it 99 cents here, but let's just round it off to $1. So they haven't mentioned how many tokens actually does the team have, because no doubt the team is not going to be buying their tokens at $1. They're just going to assign tokens to themselves, and there's no vesting mechanism whereby if there are team tokens that are assigned from the project, there needs to be vesting where they show the community in terms of transparency what percentage of these team tokens are going to be released at what schedules, right? So that's a huge red flag. This is actually the scam ID, no team tokens. Because if they are, imagine when this pre-sale currently is actually at around 2.5, to reach soft cap is going to be around the 4 million mark, right? $3,960,000. So about 6 million after once it reaches 6 million, that's when it's going to be full cap. That's when they are going to be launching the token, right? So out of that 6 million, how many tokens are going to be assigned to the team, right? They did not specify that, as well as the vesting periods, right? So don't invest in the pre-sale, guys, right? Only invest in the DEX. That's what we are going to be coming to exactly when it's the time, right? When is the right time to invest? We are going to be covering that now. So this is where you make your money, right? This is where you make your money. This is where the term ego, I believe, comes into play, right? Because soon after launch, what I observed with BTC20 is the price actually pumped all the way from $1. It pumped to $6. But what is interesting is before that pump to $6, right, the token actually dropped in price within the first 72 hours of launch. It dropped in price. It dropped something like a 60%, 70% drop. Then it picked up and it went all the way up to $5, right? So this is what I've seen with multiple tokens is soon after launch, within the first 24 to 72 hours, there's a huge drop that occurs. So there will be a listing price, a launch price, which is normally the same price as the pre-sale price, right? Soon after the pre-sale price comes in, launches, then the token will drop, let's say 60, 50, 50%, 60%. So this launch price tracking is absolutely important, because this is where you make your money. Even if it is a scam, right? You can make your money you can make your money even if it is a scam. You're not investing in the pre-sale. Now you'll be buying your tokens directly from the DEX, right? Evaluating if the contract is renounced or not. If it's not renounced, some functions can still be executed, right? That will actually block you from being able to actually sell, for example, if the contract is not renounced. But that's the risk that you have to assess for yourself, and you have a bunch of information that you have logged in your logbook, right? So for example, you can start to just observe, right? You can start to observe multiple pre-sales and the launch prices. So whenever you see a certain pre-sale, mark it down, follow it through. You can even activate on X, right? You can activate notifications, for example, for Bitcoinbsc. You can activate notifications on your phone such that each and every tweet that comes in, you receive a notification, right? And then you know what's going on. You can log it right in your logbook, because you need to know when the launch date is going to be. And when it launches, you need to watch that launch price like an eagle, right? Even though you're not invested, because that's how you learn the trends of how these pre-sales actually work, even the scammy ones, right? And then you record the date, right? And you record the prices here that you see within a 72 period, right? For the next 3-4 days after launch, you record the prices. For me, I have seen that the best time to make a profit of these pre-sales and this Kemi project is after launch. There is a huge drop that normally occurs in the price. When that drop occurs, let's say it's a 50% drop, right? Or 60% drop. At that drop, that's the perfect time to buy, right? That's the perfect time to buy, because the price normally recovers to the listing price at the very least. So you can expect in most of these tokens, for example, this Bitcoinbsc, you can expect a 1x pump, because the price will drop to, let's say, 50 cents. It recovers back to $1, right? And it can even pump all the way up to like $2, $3, $4, $5. So you can even get to a 2, 3x. But Conservatively for myself, I'll keep it around the 1x, right? I'm happy with the 1x appreciation, then I'm out, right? You don't want to be greedy, because the moment that you are greedy, the scammers are going to catch you. Because remember, these are high risk. Most of these are scammy projects, right? But there is a method to the madness of investing even into these scammy projects. But this is where the big brain crypto ego logbook comes into play, right? Because you have collected a bunch of information across multiple pre-sales before you even invest. And what is nice is, even if you've already invested into some of these pre-sales, you can already start to record some of that information, right? So this is very important. You need to log these things like an ego, right? These prices, right? Soon after launch, you need to record all the prices so that in upcoming pre-sales, you get a trend. By the time that you have evaluated 10 pre-sales in your logbook, right? By the way, link in the description for this one. And of course, the investment section, very important. It shows you the amount that you've actually, so let's say you've invested $100, right? This is also one thing that I wanted to highlight. You don't just go and say, I'm willing to spend 5,000, right? Or to invest 5,000 into this project. You don't do that, right? You go and check on the, for example, Dex tools, and you see how on average, how much are people actually investing, right? You just go there and you check, right? The USD, how many people are investing, what's the total price. So you can see that in the last like 24 hours for this one, we have here the highest amount where people are investing is $1,000, $500, right? $200 here, $100. So majority of investments here that we are actually seeing, right? It's actually quite small amounts, right? So you don't want to go now and pump money into a project such as this one. For example, you see the highest here is 5,000, right? This was on the 10th of September, 10th of September, it was 5,000, right? So you wouldn't want to invest anything near around the 2,000 mark, because majority of the transactions, you can see these are old transactions here, right, already, right? And you can see already here some of the transactions, 11th of September, there's $1,000, right? So you don't want to over invest a huge amount into the project, because if you do that, the scammers can just drown you, right? Imagine throwing 20,000 to a token like this one, right? The scammers will just drown you out and then they take your money. So you want to invest on average around how much everybody else is investing, right? So that you don't really stand out, your amount doesn't stand out. So you can see here majority of the people investing, there's quite a few people investing around the over $500, right? So a safe amount to invest into this one will be around between 100, I believe, between 100 to like $300. So if you put $300 in, when the price drop 50% drop, you buy. And then if it recovers to the listing price, you'd have had a 50% gain, which means you'll be on $150. And if it appreciates over and above the listing price of $1, right? Let's say it goes to $1.50, it goes to $2. Now you are actually up 1x and a half. You're up 2x, right? For me, 1x, I'm out, right? If I put $100, tends to $200, I'm out. That's it. Don't be greedy, right? These are scammy projects. But before you can even choose to put money into it, track at least 10 pre-sales, right? And of course, this is your profit and loss, where you actually say what is your profit and loss. So you can see here, you don't invest in the pre-sale, you don't stake your tokens, you invest on the DEX. For this one, right, they did say that they are going to be launching on a DEX. We don't know which one yet. Possibly it can, I'm not sure which one they are going to be using for this one. You just have to wait for the announcement, right? Those are some of the things that you can actually log, right? And of course, very important, emotions. Like, what were your emotions when you invested? So if you've already invested in some pre-sales already, right, you can head over to Amazon, get your hardcover book, and you can start to write what were your emotions when you bought X pre-sale, right? And also some notes here, whether what you regret, what you were happy about, whether that investment turned out great, you made a profit, or you didn't make a profit. What are some notes that you can take around the investment section, right? And then you've got the second page of actually, these are your ego notes, which are there, which is now you start to write additional information that you're just picking up around the pre-sale, You haven't even invested yet. You're just investigating it like a detective, right? For example, as of the 5th, today is actually the 17th, right? 17th of September, there are 9,193 transactions in the pre-sale, right? These are just some notes. You can even just head over to their Telegram group, right, and just see what questions are people asking. For example, you see here, are you planning on a centralized exchange? And then here the admins are replying, we are planning to launch on a DEX in the beginning, wait for an official announcement, right? So those are some of the small little notes that you can actually write, right? You see what questions are people asking, what is the admin saying, and you see here a person asking, I can't see my tokens on the site. For now, you can see, they say that for now, you can see the number of tokens on the website by connecting your wallet. The token will appear in your wallet after you claim them at launch, right? So avoid this nonsense. Don't buy the pre-sale, right? You can get scammed. You are going to get scammed. Many of the chances of the times you're going to get scams, right? So you can see here how claim the tokens. You'll be able to claim your tokens as soon as possible after the pre-sale ends from the Bitcoinbsc website. Token claiming and listing will likely be on the same day and time. You'll also be able to stake your tokens before the listing date to ensure an early staking position. This is nonsense, right? This is where they are actually prolonging the scam, right? They want everyone to be staked so that the scam can run for as long as possible. So you can write a bunch of notes here, which we call ego notes, right, which are called ego notes, and you can just, and also when it comes to the adoption tracking, this is very important. This is where you're going to pick up like your pepes and so on. Not every token is going to be a pepe. In this hardcover book, you can track 70 pre-sales. So adoption tracking is just going to X and Telegram. So for example, if you check on X, right, we go right on top, you can see that currently there's about 10.8 thousand followers, so almost 11,000 followers on here, which is actually going in line with the amount of transactions we see here, about 9,000 transactions. So we can see that the figures are looking, they are actually balancing out, which is good to see that these are identical, because sometimes you're going to see ridiculous followers on a brand new project claiming that they have got 60 something thousand followers, right, on Bitcoinbsc. But then when you go to Telegram, they only got about 1,000, 2,000, or they've got a ridiculous amount of people on Telegram, but not a lot of people are chatting, or most of them are just bots, right? So that's some of the information that you can actually log, right, as part of the ego notes. And here in Telegram, as of the 5th of September, they've got about 3,100, right, on Telegram. So as the days are coming by after every week, you can just keep tracking the adoption of this token. That's how you see the growth. Even for a token that is going to be a pepe, right, you can track it in that way. So this is something that I just wanted to share with you. Right, like I said, the link is in the description for the Big Brain Crypto Ego Logbook. Right, it's a hardcover book, durability. Right, you'll be able to track 70 pre-sales into this one. Right, and you are going to have this ego view across multiple pre-sales, because each and every pre-sale is got sort of like a unique identity. Right, and when you track about 10 of them before you even choose to invest into any one, you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of information. You're going to be seeing, especially when you look at the launch price tracking. If you track 10 pre-sales and you track their launch price fluctuations, right, that's where you make your money, right? And you just track, you're just watching, right before you now decide that this is the pre-sale, whether it's scam, it's legit, you evaluate it. Are you ready to go into it, right? So I'm going to be doing videos evaluating them in this way moving forward from today, right? So that we can wise up against the scammers, right? So this is something I wanted to share with you. Link is in the description. Pick your copy of this hardcover, right? Big Brain Crypto Ego Logbook. So thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.